Hey everyone, welcome back to my Halloween edition reviews. Hopefully you're all enjoying them. Uh, the time has come. Uh, I've been wanting to do this review, and the only one out of the series I haven't beaten yet, next to Book of Memories, is Silent Hill 5 Homecoming. I don't know if I'll ever be able to beat the game considering the fact that it's very stingy with its health pickups. I've only been able to find a couple of the health drinks. But anyways, today, well tonight actually, I'm talking about Silent Hill 4. Uh, this one is controversial, if you want to call it that. Uh, a lot of people don't like it, but I do. I thought it was a really cool sequel. It did something different. Like, it doesn't actually take place in Silent Hill, uh, like it should, though. Sorry, I had to itch my nose. Uh, and, yeah, whereas it doesn't take place in Silent Hill, it does take place close to Silent Hill. This is more of a, I guess you could call it a spin-off because it does combine uh, a Silent Hill disturbing image with uh, Silent Hill characters. Uh, we've got uh, Frank Sunderland, who is the father of James from Silent Hill 2. We've got the bunny from Silent Hill 3, if anybody remembers the bunny rabbit. Um, we've got Walter Sullivan, who was mentioned through memos in Silent Hill 2. We've got Billy and Miriam Locane, who were talked about uh, in Silent Hill 2 for they were killed. They were one of the two of the victims of Walter Sullivan. And it, like I said, it tried to be different. But there's a difference between being different at good and being different at bad. Uh, this one is different at good, if that makes any sense. And I like what it was going for. Uh, it was going for the claustrophobia sort of feel, because you're stuck in a room, but there's a portal inside your bathroom. Why they picked the bathroom, I do not know. But this hole keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger the more you progress through the story. And it turns into the Silent Hill symbol. Like, the outer layer of it is the Silent Hill symbol from Silent Hill 3, where you could save your progress. Um, I thought that was a cool idea. Like, I played this game before I played Silent Hill 3, so give me a break on this. I knew it had references to each of the games: Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, a little bit of Silent Hill 1, uh, but not too much on Silent Hill 1. It's mainly the 2 and 3 they took references from. And you can peep in on your next door neighbor. uh, Elaine, I think her name is. I could be wrong, but better to be safe than sorry. I'm going to look through the manual. Yes, I got this at GameStop, and it is complete. Used, I got it for 20 bucks. And I think it's worth it. You might not think it's worth it. Your next door neighbor might not think it's worth it. But I think it's worth it. Okay, the enemies in this game, you cannot kill them unless you have a magical sword. That's my complaint. But these kind of enemies and the bosses throughout each stage, uh, these enemies you can kill pretty easily. But if it's a human, and I use human very loosely, uh, you cannot kill them. But you can kill stuff like that. Billy and Miriam Locane are together as twins, even though they were never mentioned as being twins. Uh, they just said, oh, one is 7 and one is, I think, 10. I could be wrong, but what really caught my eye about this, I played the demo, so I knew what I was getting into with this game. And one thing that caught my eye was the cover. Like, you can't walk past without at least taking a look at the cover. You'll be like, do 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 do. Sorry, I did a little bit of the Looney Tunes theme song. You're like walking around looking at games, and this one comes to tuition. You're like, hey, Silent Hill, and I'm going to act like this is 2004. Uh, hey, I'm looking for a good game. Not great, but I'm looking for a good game that will keep me occupied. That, oh, this catches your eye, and you take it up to the cash register, pull out 20 bucks or 17 bucks. You can get it for about, I think, 4 bucks on Amazon. I could be wrong, maybe it's higher, but I think you can get it for like 4 bucks, and that's definitely worth it too. But uh, for a complete game and being one of the most hated in the Silent Hill franchise, 20 bucks isn't bad. And anyways, you play the character of Henry. Like I said, he's um at the beginning you're like, who the hell is this character? What's he got to do with Silent Hill? Um he's pretty much fucked. He is locked inside his room, and the only way out is a hole in the wall in his bathroom. Like, why pick the bathroom? Couldn't you have picked the bedroom, the living room? Even though the living room is a piece of shit, uh, the only thing the living room is good for is saving your progress. But the bigger the hole gets, the pretty much the more fucked up the story is. And can anybody tell me how to get the good endings? Because I read walkthroughs, like FAQs, stuff like that, and I'm still trying to get the good ending. Like, I was able to get an alright ending, but the first playthrough, the first 2 playthroughs I did were like 24 hours each and up. And I'm just like, how the hell do I get a different ending? I played through this game 2 times, and I'm like, where the fuck is a different ending? I did different choices. Uh, I did what the walkthroughs told me to, and where is my different ending? And then finally, on the third try, I got a different ending. Granted, it's not the greatest of endings, but hell, it's a good ending. And yeah, there's the great ending where you save both yourself and Elaine, which I have to open up again because I went right past it. So, anyways, let me go into the table of contents. Uh, Characters. Okay, page 5. Okay. Eileen, not Elaine, Eileen. Uh, and Henry, like I said. Uh, the first area you go to, uh, dimension, if you want to call it that, is a Subway. Not a Subway where you're gonna eat a $5 footlong. Uh, I love Subway. Tasty. Anyways, a Subway as in trains, Subway. Uh, a place where you go to a train stop, or just go there to get the crap beat out of you because I heard stories about New York City. I've seen some videos too about New York City. Uh, the subway isn't really the nicest place to go at night, so you gotta be careful in the subway. But in this subway, you're pretty much fucked because you've got these monsters flying around. Yes, a human monster or zombie, if you want to call them that. They're floating around, and you can't even kill them. You can knock them out for a good 15, maybe 20 seconds. Nah, that's too much time. I think maybe 5 seconds, and you've got to run before they come after you again. You can put down candles, but it's best to save the candles to save Eileen and use it on your room. Otherwise, you're going to get completely fucked because the room is surprisingly supposed to be your safe place. And it's the only way to save the game, so you've got to go back and forth between the portals. Thankfully, they are pretty lenient on how many portals there are. Like, they're pretty much your checkpoints as well. And my mouth is completely dry and I taste cotton in my mouth. Trying to wet my mouth a little bit, even though that sounds completely disgusting, I know, but my mouth is dry. Anyways, a thing that also got my interest about the when a cover gets your eye in the back is pretty damn cool. Like, sorry, this right here catches my eye. I'm like turning it over and I'm like reading the back, and then I come across the scary face. I'm like, this looks very interesting. And it says all new riveting Silent Hill adventure with shocking plot twists. Fend off new monsters, including ghosts that defy physical reality. Defy? Uh, Visual transitions between first and third person gameplay modes. The first person view is really cheap. Uh, Anyways, why put Silent Hill in first person view? Um, pretty much the first person view is a piece of shit. Because it's not really first person if you can only walk around for maybe a minute or two, however long you want. But you're screwed on where you can walk to because you've only got a couple places to go. Because the room is incredibly small, and I just find the room to be very boring until you get farther into the game. And before I forget, there's a part where you can take a doll. Do not take that doll or you are screwed because there's no reason to take the doll. You don't give it to anybody. And I'm just like, why give us a choice on this? Don't take the doll because it will make babies come out of the walls in your room, and babies that are just in the wall and they hurt your mind. They're like that's the sound you hear, and I'm like, this is a good game, but this is an annoyance. I really need a candle in my room to save myself, so I've got to pretty much save myself or save Eileen, which you're pretty screwed when you come to think of it because the candles are every couple of areas. Like, you find them, and you're like, okay, there's this candle, I'm reading about it, and like, how the fuck is this supposed to work? You just put it down, and you're saved for a couple minutes. Well, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes because uh the candle goes by way too fast. But putting them in your room, they give you like a good amount of time to get in and get the hell out. Uh, and here's where the babies come in. If you take that doll, you're screwed because the babies come out right where your item box is. Yes, there is an item box, and this is the only Silent Hill I've seen where you actually got a limit on how many items you can hold. Why do that? Why fuck the player over by doing that? Are they trying to say, oh, well, we're trying the Resident Evil route? I'm like, you're Silent Hill, not Resident Evil. Resident Evil is Resident Evil is a zombie game, and this is supposed to be a demon game. So why are you fucking with the player? Even in Silent Hill Origins, you got a selection you can do. Like, you can go to your weapon selection and item selection in Silent Hill Origins, but the weapons in that game break. Uh, the melee combat is pretty much useless when you've got a gun, and you find ammo every couple of seconds in one room, and then the other room, and then another room, and then yada yada yada, finding weapon here and there. You find health, you find guns. My favorite one to use is the shooting rifle, shooting rifle, hunting rifle. Yeah, it's a rifle. Pretty damn fun. Uh, I think there's a shotgun. I haven't played the game in a while. I'll actually show it to you. I do not have the PS3, not PS3, PSP version, but they eventually got around to doing it on PlayStation 2. Which one's better? This or this? This takes place in Silent Hill. This takes place near Silent Hill. these demons you can actually destroy, but they're taken right out of Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. Sorry, my dog Domino. What's up, man? Uh, anyways, it says the nightmare began here. I'll I'll talk about that more when I get around to doing it. If I'm going chronologically, I should have done that before the first one. If I'm going by year, here's the fucked up part. Silent Hill 5 Homecoming came out in 2008. Silent Hill Origins for the PS2 came out in 2008. So I'm pretty much confused here. Like, do I review Silent Hill Origins before Silent Hill Homecoming, or do I review Silent Hill Homecoming before Origins? Because didn't the Silent Hill Origins come out in 2006 for the PSP? I could be mistaken here, but didn't they come out in 2006? I know the PS2 port is a PS2 port, so they wait a couple of years or so to release it for, well, 2 years to release it on the PS2. And I'm like, a Silent Hill game that is Sony exclusive? Ah, you've caught my attention right there. Let me rub my face while I talk about Silent Hill. Silent Hill. Mm. What about Billy Joe Bob? Do you like Silent Hill? Oh, yes, I do, Billy Joe Rip. Yeah, trying to be a little funny here. Uh, what do I give Silent Hill 4? Oh, I gotta go through the areas more. The first place you go is a subway. Like, that's the first real place you go. You go to a water prison as the third area. I should actually say the second area you go is the woods near Silent Hill. They say it on the radio in your room uh, at the end of the game. I won't spoil what ending it is, but uh, it's not a very interesting ending, anyways. Then you go to the water prison, and then you go to apartment district, and then you go to outside of your apartment. Finally, we get a change of scenery. Oh, thank God we get a change of scenery. Thank you, Lord. But you think it's going to be a reality beyond that door if you get around to opening up the door? Right here, this is what the door looks like. Granted, it's not red and it doesn't have a zombie coming out of the door itself. That this zombie demon ghost, whatever you want to call it, it comes out of the freaking wall. It doesn't come out of the door, but it comes out of the freaking wall. Yes, I said freaking. I'm trying my best not to curse through this video. Although I think I've used 3 times. Uh, in case I didn't, I'm probably getting loony in the head. I'm getting a little bit of Alzheimer's here. Or as my mom calls it, sometimer disease. Uh, anyways, you go to an apartment district. There's 2 districts for the apartment. There's your room that you go out of, and then there's just outside your apartment, like the building itself. You're outside. You can go anywhere you want. Which, that's a thing I've always loved about Silent Hill. you've got an open world where you can go wherever you want. But in this one, where you get to free roam the environment, when you go through that portal, you realize the the environment isn't really all that big. The monsters are cool. The design for the level is cool. Uh, it seems kind of linear if you think about it because you can only go left, right, forward, backward, side to side, forward, backward, side to side, diagonally right, diagonally left, diagonally down left, diagonally down right. The areas just aren't that big. The biggest area is probably the apartment district. Outside the apartment, not outside your room. But Frank Sunderland is the superintendent of the apartment building. You only see him outside your room through the people. You're looking through the people, you're knocking on the door, being like, let me out, let me out. And so he puts the key into the key hole, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't open up the room, which it should, but there are chains on the door. Which there's a reason behind that. I won't spoil it, but there's a reason, and it takes a while to get to that reason, but there's there's a reason. It's a tiny reason, not a raisin, a reason. But here's where it fucks with the player. Not only do you go to 4 areas, you gotta go through them again. Except for this time, the monsters are in different places, and how there's a part where you go upside down, and I'm like, going upside down, ooh, scary. You're reverting the world. You're inverting it, you're reverting it, you're upside down inverting it, you're inverting it left and right to make it right and left. And I'm like, you're getting pretty lazy now with the environments. Um, anyways, you gotta go through each of the areas again, except for Subway World. There's a locked door at the beginning of that area. You It's a locked door, so you can't go through it. Yada yada yada. And later on in the game, you end up going through that door, but you're going in it in reverse. You're going into the subway world. You think that outside that door there's going to be freedom. Oh, the taste of freedom. But no. It's just a really long staircase, and you keep on going down further and further and further. I'll say it again, further. This game, it's fun. I will admit that. It's a little weird, disturbing and weird, but it's fun. It tried to do something different, so I applaud that. It's not rehashing the monsters from the second game. The closest thing you're gonna get is the dog monster. But even then, they switched up the look a little bit. But their tongues are huge. Like, there's a part in the beginning of the game where you first see the dogs, and their tongues fly out, and they end up like sucking the blood out of one of their fallen companions. Oh, that's a great way to treat your buddies. You're going to eat them alive. Well, eat them while they're wounded. And we find a medallion that helps you not get hurt by the monsters. Like, they screw with your mind a little bit, like not puzzling your mind or anything, but actually hurting your mind. Like, the screen turns red and this annoying buzzing sound ends up happening. And I'm like, are you pulling a fatal frame on me? Are you really gonna do that? Because there are environments in Fatal Frame. I can't really remember which one. Is it the third one? Is it the second one? Anyways, there's environments that do hurt you. Uh, Not in one hit like Sai does. If anybody remembers my Fatal Frame 2 review, I talked about it like a giddy schoolgirl. Like, I am a fanboy of that game. I'm a fanboy of the series. Like, I'm I'm gonna pull that out real quick. I'll be reviewing this later on. Fatal Frame. Is it a fun game? Most definitely. I've got a big smile on my face underneath this mask. Big as can be. The scariest game ever. Within its time period, it was the scariest game ever. Until they made part 2. And then they made part 3. You can't bounce back from part 2. Why is it that when they make a survival horror game, why does number 2 spring to mind the best out of the series? Because Silent Hill 2, Resident Evil 2, uh, Fatal Frame 2, Parasite Eve 2, even though this isn't survival horror, Final Fantasy 2. For its time, Final Fantasy 2 was really cool until we got to part 7. Role playing time. But enough about the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s of survival horror series. We're talking about Silent Hill 4 here. What do I give it? I'll give it about a 6 out of 10. That's not bad by any means. This definitely gets a 6 out of 10. It's fun, but it's annoying. It's annoying at points. Um, and why I give it a 6 out of 10? It's difficult. It's really hard trying to get those different endings. How I got a different ending on my third playthrough is beyond me. But 6 out of 10. Definitely worth playing. It's definitely worth the purchase if you can get past it not taking place in Silent Hill. Like I said, it takes place near Silent Hill, but it doesn't take place in Silent Hill. One of my friends called this game a cock tease. It is kind of a very misleading title. It should have just been called The Room, and they should have made a real Silent Hill game for the fourth game. Come on, it's the fourth game, 2004. You could do better than that. But they went backwards with Silent Hill Homecoming. I'll get to how it went backwards. But anyways, that's my review over Silent Hill 4. I know I didn't go in great detail with the environments because how in depth could you go with the environments? Because they're pretty small environments, and like they say, bigger is better. Silent Hill Origins, Silent Hill Homecoming, Silent Hill 4 The Room, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 2. How I love Part 2. Even though I didn't go too in depth with it, I love that game. Silent Hill 1. Which one had the biggest environment? I would have to say either Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill Homecoming. Because Silent Hill Origins is pretty much rehashing Silent Hill 2's environment. And a little bit of Silent Hill 1's. But anyways, that's my review of this terrific game. And I'm not being sarcastic. This is really a terrific game to play. Especially with the lights turned out, your room locked. You gotta get the feel for it because you're in a room in the game and you're playing this game in a room. Hopefully your bedroom. Not really too much the living room where it's a big place because there are small places in this game. So anyways, I've talked long enough about Silent Hill 4. Hell, I went on for 36 minutes? Jeez. That's a lot of time talking about this game. So definitely check this out. They'll probably put Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, and Silent Hill 4 on the PlayStation Store at some point. They already put number 1 in for $5, and it's definitely worth buying for $5 digitally. And I paid $35 for a physical copy down at a local comic book store. I bought Silent Hill Origins from the comic book store, and I bought Silent Hill 3 from the comic book store. This one I got down at GameStop, and I should point out, for a used game for $20, let me get the disc out. Come on. There we go. Coming today. Pretty cool looking disc, and yeah, there's a couple scratches you might not be able to see. Ooh, reflection of a YouTube picture. This works like a brand new game. So I gotta give them credit for that one. Oh, and I've got a bunch of comedy games I'm gonna be reviewing for November. Gotta get the horror games out first, even though horror is the better genre of the two. I love funny games, so. And I love horror games. I love horror games way more than comedy games, which I'll sneak in some horror games within the month of November. But anyways, I'm out. See you all tomorrow. Peace.